When this girl collided with another girl and dropped money on the ground before leaving, the first girl started calling out to her saying, "You dropped your money," but the other girl didn't hear anything and walked away. Then this girl picked up the money from the ground, felt very happy, and left. That was her way of taking the interview, and she immediately failed the girl and walked away. When she approached a boy, she dropped the money on the ground and left. The boy picked up the fallen money, got very happy, and went off to give his interview. Right then, this girl also failed that boy in the interview and moved on to another boy. But that boy was very poor and was praying for a job. This girl threw money in front of the poor boy and left. When the boy saw the money, he picked it up and said, "This isn't my money, nor do I want to keep it." Then he started calling out loudly to the girl. When the girl looked back, the boy went up to her and said, "This is your money, you keep it." The girl checked her bag and said, "This was my money, and you returned it to me." The boy said, "Because this wasn't earned through my hard work, I gave it back." The girl said, "Your thinking is very good, but where are you going with that file?" The boy replied, "I have an interview today, and I'm on my way to give it." The girl said, "All right, you may go." Then the boy left. Later, this girl passed that boy in the interview. While both were waiting to give the interview, the poor boy asked, "Will the interview happen here?" The girl said, "You've come to give the interview, but you didn't even know where it is? How did you pass?" The boy said, "People like you, who come in torn clothes, would never have an interview here." The girl said, "Do you know this is a very big company? Do you think you'll be selected here?" The poor boy replied, "If I had money, I would also wear good clothes like you. Clothes keep changing with the times." When it was time for the interview, all of them stood up and went into the interview officer's office. The lady officer said, "Please submit your CVs." They all started submitting their CVs. The officer first checked the poor boy's CV, then the other boy's CV, and finally the girl's CV. She said, "Both of your CVs are very good, and your experience is also very good." The poor boy watched everything anxiously. Then the officer said to the poor boy, "Your CV is very good, but you have very little experience." The poor boy said, "This is my first interview today. I've never worked in any company before." Then the girl said to the officer, "If he has no experience, why did he come here for the interview? And do you know this is a very big company?" She then told the poor boy, "You're wasting your time here. Leave. You can never be selected in this company." The officer said, "I'm not sitting here to listen to your talk. The interview is over, and the selection has been made." The girl said, "You didn't even take the interview, so how was the selection done? I don't understand. Please explain." The officer said, "My way of taking interviews is very different from other companies. The girl you met a while ago who dropped her money, that was me, and that was your interview. That means if you find dropped money, you shouldn't return it. First, return my money." Then both returned the money. Then the girl said to the poor boy, "What are you looking at? Return the money." The officer said, "He picked up my money and immediately returned it to me. That's why I passed him in the interview. Now you pick up your CV and leave." Then both of them picked up their CVs and left the office. The poor boy got a job in that company. Tell me, was the officer's way of taking interviews right or wrong?